What's going on, YouTube? Claic Yuzolt back again with another Final Fantasy Brave Exvius video, and I know a lot of people out there were waiting for me to come back. Just got back from the anniversary event. I was actually there as a spectator this time instead of being up on stage. Got a lot of thoughts going through my mind, but a lot of people are wanting me to talk about my feelings on how we didn't get the ticket, the question that was apparently hidden from everybody, and just my general thoughts of how the anniversary went and all the announcements. So, let's get into it. Alright guys, before I get into the actual pertaining of the third anniversary and the whole ticket debacle and everything like that, I want to talk about how I liked actually going to the event. So mostly the fan festas I've been to, it's been a large crowd, everybody stands in the crowd, we have a stage, everybody gets hyped for the stage, yada yada, it goes on. You guys have seen the fan festas. This was much different. From what I understand, they invited a couple of content creators out in different forms. There was Neighborhood Gaming, there was HK, who was a cosplayer. I do believe we had someone who was from a Facebook group manager was there. There were several different content creators there, and a lot of them that were invited to come. There was also up to 50, I do believe, players that were invited to come out to this event. And the reason it was so strict is because they had a whole buffet for us to eat from. They had like chicken and fish and meat, like beef. I don't know what kind of beef it was, 'cause I'm terrible at that kind of stuff. Salad, and some pasta. It was a really good time. They had a bar where you could get drinks, but we had to wait till after the live stream, so they were kind of trying to be safe with that, I guess. And so overall, it was a nice event. It was very, when we walked in, we got to pick our tables. As for the content creators, I do believe they were put at specific tables on purpose. I was put on Team Jake, so I was kind of disappointed, but in the end, let's go Team Jake if you were there. And so essentially, people would come in, they'd have a box, they'd pull a random character out of it, and that's the table they would sit at. After we got sat down, it was like little circle tables, kind of felt like a wedding almost, like a wedding reception, because there were flowers, the little Team Jake on top of the flowers, and then we had a little circle. We had pins and coasters from the Square Enix Japanese cafe we got from going there, and all kinds of cool little goodies and fun things for everybody that actually attended. As we were there, they eventually they brought on stage the cast, which would have been Shali, Hirono-san, and Fujimoto-san to do the actual event. So that felt more of like the normal fan festa type of thing where they live streamed it and you guys saw that. Shortly after that, they brought that cake out, and I know everybody wants to know how good that cake was. I'm gonna tell you what, it's one of the best cakes I've ever had. I'm dead serious when I say that. I was so surprised. I was like, I don't know if I'll get the cake. Okay, here you go. Let me try that cake. And it was like strawberries were cut up in it, some cream. It was kind of chilled. The fondant wasn't terribly too sweet or terribly like chewy or whatever, because there was fondant on the outside. So it was very, very good. So I'm sorry to everybody out there that couldn't get a piece of it, because it was excellent, the third anniversary cake. Shortly after that, as we were getting our dinner, so after you guys saw the cake ceremony and everything, we were getting our dinner, and each table would have around 8 minutes to talk to either Shali, Hirono-san, or Fujimoto-san, and ask them specific questions, get things signed, and just kind of have one-on-one time with the producers. And this is where most people got the question answered that you guys, some of the community seemed to think that they were hiding from you guys. You know, why didn't we get the returning tickets? Their answer they gave to my table was they're different games, and it was Hirono-san who gave that answer. But we'll get into that a little bit in a second. Actually, let's just get into it now. So essentially, there was a huge debacle over, they were answering some Q&A questions. They get to the fourth one, I think it was the fourth one, and they run out of time. And Reddit and YouTube, Facebook all saw what was on the next question, and it was, are we getting the tickets for, you know, our rank experience, or our current rank in the game, and then the total login days coming in. So people wanted to know that. That's what JP got for their third anniversary, and they would get, the tickets that you would receive are the anniversary tickets we are getting. And people wanted to know that. That's obvious, and I feel you on that. However, people were saying they were trying to hide it, they were cowards, they weren't answering it, and so I just want to interject here. People think I'm defending Gumi when I say this, or Square Enix, or the event, or the game. Dude, I have this complex where I can't let people sit on their high horse and hold their sword in the air and just swing around and say whatever they want without logic. So when I see that they're obviously wrong, because I know they're wrong, I know for a fact they're wrong, and if you don't want to believe me, that's fine, it's whatever. I had to roundhouse Chuck Norris, kick them off their high horse. It just makes me, like, I don't like mass spread false hysteria, and essentially it would make more people get, you know what I mean? So Here's why it wasn't skipped on purpose. One, they answered it. They answered to everybody. Every table asked it, they answered to everybody. Okay, so that's the step one. Step two, as soon as they got to that question when they were flipping it over, 3 people came over from the booth. I've run these fan fests. They start pointing at the time. They were like, no more questions. We got to keep going, because they actually started the event late, so they were trying to cram it all into the time period we had at the event, because we had to be out of there at a certain time, or there was some motorbike gang. I'm telling you, when we left that event, there were some people on motorbikes. It was crazy. So they had time restraints, and those questions were written by the Japanese team that were with them at the event. So their PR team, their marketing team, their operations team, those are the people that wrote the questions down on that pamphlet. If they didn't want to address that question, it would have never been on the paper. They would have wrote, when are we getting a Barney collaboration? Or, something like Barney the Purple Dinosaur. Like, they wouldn't ever put it on that piece of paper, because why would they show it? Why would they ever be there if they wanted to avoid it? Now, here comes the other side. So I just want you to know they were hiding it. I think that they should have made time to answer it. I agree with you. I agree that them coming out there and talking about the bannings for like 20 minutes, I don't know how long it was. It felt like 20 minutes in the middle of the show, brought the hype down. That could have been allotted to more questions what the community wanted. So I agree with you. I think that was poorly done. But at the same time, I don't think we need to be screaming tinfoil hat conspiracy theories if they were like, oh, this question, nope, I ain't answering that. Because we would have gotten the same answer we always get. The producers always give us that same runaround. I can't talk about it too much. Maybe in the future. We're thinking about it. You know what I mean? So there's they could have just been like, which was the answer they gave us, JP and Global are different games. Moving on from that, I really do think that I hope it's constructive criticism, but I know a lot of it wasn't, actually got to them. They actually heard it. And I actually agree with you guys. I think, and it's making them maybe reconsider not giving it to us. I don't really care about the tickets. I got to be 100% honest. I could care less about those tickets. We do know where JP is at in the game right now with the whole Summon Fest thing. I'm hoping, and you could get UOCs from these tickets, and they gave too many out, and yada, yada, yada. So hopefully Global's in a better place now with those adjustments. However, when we do look at, when we do look at the overall arcing of the anniversary, there was no big grand gesture towards the veteran players, you and I, the grinders, the people that have our rank over 150, the people who have logged in almost every day. I know a lot of you guys have logged in every day. You don't miss a login day. It wasn't there. For the second anniversary, the spenders and the whales who should be, on the anniversary, get a little something. They spending money in the game. They're VIPs. They should be getting some money. And even the free-to-play for grinding that Lapis, always being on, spinning it, got a lot of tickets in return, showing appreciation for you guys. You guys got something special. This year's anniversary seems like they are really just focused on the returning players. And that brings me to this point right here. The returning players or the new players, people who maybe got bored of the game, or even people who abandoned it, calling it a bad game, are getting more rewards than we are. I'm not saying our rewards in the third anniversary aren't great. And the third anniversary as a whole, obviously you'll spend those rewards, you'll probably get a couple rainbows, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it matters, but in the grand scheme of things, for the game's longevity, the content matters, and we'll get into what they announced for content-wise. It was excellent. Overall, super excited about the anniversary, but this part right here is a letdown. Returning players and new players, I'm glad they're getting all this stuff. They need a chance to get back into the meta. They need a chance to feel welcome back in. That's great. This is what they're getting. If they do all the quests, they log in every day, they come back for the comeback campaign, okay? 1,600 Lapis. 9 times comeback, 10 plus 1 tickets. 1 10 plus 1 ticket, 1 5 plus 1 ticket, 3 times EX tickets, 2 times 5-star guarantee EX tickets, 1 rare ticket, 50,000 gil, 25 king metal mini tours, 10 times comeback exchange coins, which you can, there are UOCs. That's a UOC that you can exchange for a certain amount of units. There are some great ones in there, by the way. They get all of that, and we don't get that, right? That's for comeback players. That's for the people who have left the game. That's for new players. And again, I have no problem with them doing that. Here's the problem. As a veteran, as someone who's playing the game, we need to be shown appreciation and shown, given something that makes us feel special, that shows them like, hey man, you've stuck with our game. I know we've been messing up, or I know we've had this and that, but you've been there since the beginning. You deserve this. You've been grinding your butt off. Here you go. And that's why the select or the anniversary tickets being based on your rank and your logged in days was that an excellent idea. I don't really care what the reward is. They could be tickets, and, UOCs don't have to be in there. It's just the gesture of saying, hey, man, we appreciate that. We appreciate you. We feel you. You've been with us for 3 years, man. You've been grinding your heart out. You deserve these tickets. And I think that's what it's missing. It didn't have to be those third anniversary tickets. It could have been like if you're ranked over a certain amount, or, I mean, that kind of excludes the people that may be grinded but aren't there yet. You know what I mean? Like, that's why it was such a great idea to base it off of rank and logged in days. Because that is so important to the game, and it shows your support, your everlasting support. You didn't give up on them. You didn't leave. But yet the people who left, which again, I have no problem with you guys coming. Come back in. We're here, dude. We're here to have some fun. I want you to have fun. I'm glad you're getting all that stuff. Pull for it, baby. I'm not saying I'm jealous. I want to strike you down. I'm just saying, you know, their logic here isn't where it should be on both sides of the spectrum. While we did get a lot of great gifts, and I'm super excited, and I can't wait to be using them, I do believe that, you know, it could have been changed a little bit different. I think the veteran players weren't the focus, and I think that's a problem. I don't think you do that as a company. You don't just forget who's been supporting you throughout the years to try to bring in new and veteran players. Now, again, that's just my opinion. It doesn't have to be that way. I'm hoping you guys get them. Again, with the whole UOC Summon Fest thing that we've all been talking about and scared of coming in global, I'm hoping it's a different game when it comes to that. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on it. Again, if Goomy Square Enix, if you're watching this, I think that's where you missed the mark. You focused a little bit too much on new player and returning player acquisition and kind of left your veteran players, because the new players and the returning players get everything the veteran players get, right? However, we can't get the rewards they're getting, and we don't get anything special for sticking with you. I think that's a mistake where JP got it really right. It doesn't matter how many we get, what we get, but it was based off of how long we've stuck with you, and I think that was a great gesture. Anyway, let's go talk about something else real quick, and it has to do with selecting the correct choice on the player's vote, because I think there is a correct choice. All right, guys, so we're here on the wiki. We do have a player's voice campaign where you guys are going to be able to vote for what you guys would like to have. I think there's going to be 2 of these. At least I think so. So you're going to be able to go in. What you do is you spin the ticket on one of these banners, and that is considered your vote. So there has been another thing that people are complaining about, which I'm going to somewhat fight at you against, okay? And that's okay. It's my opinion. It's also your opinion to do whatever you want to say. Let's go through the choices and we'll talk about it. So the first choice you guys can vote for is 20 days of free daily 3 summon with a 5-star rainbow rate. So you guys will get 5-star rainbow rate, 3 summon, 3 units per day. You know, that seems pretty cool. That seems pretty awesome, but it's not as awesome as the other options, okay? 20 days of free daily Trust Moogle or Trust Moogle summon, 11 Trust Moogles and or a Super Trust Moogle. We don't know what the rates are on this thing. Now, if Trust Moogles are popping out, if somewhere in there they rig it to where you get a Super Trust Moogle, everybody gets at least 1, then it would be good. But the problem with this is, TMR Moogles, we get them down a dozen now in the game. Super Trust Moogles or get you an STMR, right? I mean, just, boom, get you an STMR, and it's hard to get those. So they are the most valuable. That's so valuable, okay? And just to leave it up to chance, I don't like that. The Trust Moogles, I could do without. The STMR, I can't. Moving on to number 3, Super Trust Moogle exchange ticket login bonus. Gives 100 Super Trust Moogle exchange tickets. To get an STMR Moogle, you need 100 tickets. You exchange 100 tickets for an STMR Moogle. Put it on any unit. Bada bing, bada boom, you get their STMR. All right? This one is the obvious choice for me. It is the most valuable. STMR is just super powerful. It'll enhance your account, it'll just inject power right into your what you're doing, right? You get to choose which one you want. You can even hold on to it for later. And throughout the game, they will be giving us these STMR Moogle tickets. You have to obtain 100, save them up, exchange them, then you get an STMR. I think this is the obvious choice. The next choice, which I really wish wasn't on here because it's really cool. I wish it was just happening. Player's voice unit upgrade. Players vote on a unit to be upgraded in a separate poll. Why didn't we just have that? Why didn't we just have that? It's such a cool concept. It should have just been done. It would have made the anniversary even better. Take that off and throw in some Mega Site or something like that. You know what I mean? Super Site. I don't care. That would have just been something special for Global, and I think we deserved it. I think that should have just been on a separate case. So, in the end, be voting for number 3, in my opinion, if you want the best value, okay? Now, people are a little upset with this. People don't like the fact that JP just got the STMR Moogle. They didn't have this voting thing. They just got the STMR Moogle, the spikes, the hardcore players, the min-maxers, the players who want the best they can always get, obviously want the STMR Moogle. They don't want any choices. They're out. They just want the STMR. They don't want to summon. They save their summons for the best they can, and that's mostly the educated Reddit, Facebook, YouTube community like us want that. I am on more of the glass half full with this kind of situation, and I am willing to sacrifice for Global, because essentially there it is. If the entire community who plays this game wants the STMR Moogle, it's right there for them to take. It's there. Everyone chooses it, we get it. There are other options, though. And maybe not everybody in Global are... Global. Goomy Global. are spikes like us. Maybe they're not hardcore players. Maybe they don't care about STMR Moogles. Maybe they don't care about STMRs. Maybe they just care about the daily rainbow rate. And who is it for us to decide what they want? Who is it for us to decide how they should play their game? It sucks for us, dude. I'm going to high-five you. I want that STMR Moogle. I know what that means. But I also know what it means for Johnny, Robbie, and Jill down the road who really just play the game to summon, who really just play the game to have a good time, and maybe they just want the 5% rainbow rate. Maybe that's so cool to them, they want to do that. Or they have a great unit they want to upgrade, and they're super excited about it, and they vote for that. Who is it for us in the Reddit community to deter that? Global votes for this. If Global wants that STMR ticket, we're going to get it. If they don't, they want something else. Hey, dude, those are the breaks. Giving more choices to the wider player base may be worse for us hardcore players, but I think it's better for the game overall and for everybody out there playing it. It's not always about the most hardcore. Just my opinion, and I know I'm going to get obliterated for it. That's just how I feel about a lot of things going on, okay? So, in closing, I think the 3rd anniversary... Oh, they're not even in closing. We got to go over everything that's coming out. So, obviously, they talked about CG Charlotte. I want to say in closing, I think I was going to say in closing, I think the rewards for the anniversary were great. However, we needed that grand gesture like I talked about before, and get that STMR Moogle if you want the best value. But if you don't, don't feel forced, do what you want. So we have the series boss battles coming out. This is an awesome addition to the game. I love this. So we're going to have FF series boss battles. They should be like the big baddies of the FF series that we get to fight. It's like little trials. And they're going to come from like FF1, FF2, FF7, blah, blah, blah. They're going to be coming out slowly but surely. And the first one coming out is an FFBE boss, Chaotic Darkness, if you guys remember from the end of Season 1. And if you bring specific units from that game, for example, this is FFBE, they get more powerful. They get more stat boost. Along with the fact, it'll be the same for FF7. Bring Cloud in your party when it comes out. Cloud's going to be able to take it down. Hopefully it's Sephiroth, because that'd be sick. Like Sephiroth, the big meteor looking for, or whatever the world form. We also go down and through these events in the JP version of the game, you could acquire enhanced abilities. So like different units would get better abilities unlocked or enhance abilities by doing these fights. That's changed for Global. We'll talk about that in a minute. Moving on down, we do have unit upgrades, which is insane, right? Ability awakenings, ability unlocks, we're not for sure. But in July, Mouth, Beryl, Myra, Elesperus, and Circe are all getting, or Cirque, are all getting their units somehow buffed up. Some of these units already have enhancements. So they're somehow getting changed. If you go to August, Christine, Kryla, Roberta, Grimlord Sakura, Aloha Laswell, I don't know how they're changing them, but they said they picked these because, one, they were the global exclusive units that were made, so they want them to be, so powerful for people to use in the meta, along with the fact that they said these are the most popular units, which means this is a whole nother change for Global. Who knows what these units are going to turn out to be? Who knows how strong they're going to be? But I hope they're really powerful for everybody out there so they can have a lot of fun with them. Moving on down, during that Q&A, I do want to mention everybody's been talking about the story update. How are we going to get the story update, etc.? They said it's going to be different than JP, that they're going to release it slowly, so it's not going to be a whole story reset. It's going to be, I guess, mission-based. I don't really know. We're just not going to get it all at once. And if you guys aren't aware, you know those missions you do in the story? Like you go do a story mission, there's separate missions. In JP, there was a button you could click and reset them all, so you could get all that lapis and all those rewards again. In Global, it looks like it's going to come in slowly. Not really sure why they're doing that. Doesn't make much sense to me, because people just spin that lapis right out the gate anyway, probably. They go for CG Charlotte or something, but hey, that's whatever. Moving on down to New Info Volume 2, and this gets me so hyped for the game. We got Chamber of the Vengeful Global Original Boss, Exterminator Extraordinaire. And it looks like we get a look at this. It looks like we get, hopefully this is set bonuses. Hopefully this is like a set. And it's similar to the way we got the set bonuses before. But this is going to be like the Easter boss, but it's going to be the whole new chamber called Chamber of the Vengeful. This is global exclusive entirely. Every month they said, this month we're getting EE, but next month we're getting another global exclusive. And the next month another global exclusive. And from then on, every month we're getting global exclusive trials. And I have been clamoring for this my entire life. I'm so excited. But that's not all. Yeah, that's pretty hype on its own. That's not all. We actually have a global original trial reward system where essentially you go in, you beat it with the first 5 units that you take with you. You take 5 different units, you get a reward. But then it starts wanting you to use different units. So if you use 10 different units when you beat this boss, so your first 5, swap them out, for another 5 or something like that, or you replace 1, you get another reward. And it keeps going down. You keep getting different rewards if you clear it with different units. So it makes replayability in the game very, very high. We can get all these different kinds of rewards, all these different things, and we can try out different team comps. It's excellent. I don't know how else to say it. You know, everybody's out there being like, one shot with Esther. It's like, well, yeah, but you didn't get all the rewards now. Better go in there with your Xeno, still don't have all the rewards. Better go in there with XYZ, different tank, different... It's amazing. And I'm sorry if you guys don't think that. I am all giggles about this. This is very, very awesome. Along with that, they said they have plans to allow you to be able to take, instead of taking a friend unit, take your own unit. That's going to be insane. For all the people out there that are like, I can't find a specific friend unit. I'm looking. Screw it. Put my own friend unit in. Put my own unit in there. I got 2 7-star X, Y, and Zs, and now it kind of changes the idea of, do you keep 2 7-stars, you fuse them together? It's kind of changed now because of that. We'll have to see exactly how it works when it comes out, but I'm very excited. And yeah, if this is set bonuses, I don't know why. It looks like it would be. And there's 3 different equipment rewards from a boss. It's going to be awesome. Moving on down, they call it Latent Abilities. That's right. Latent Abilities. And remember how I was talking about when you would fight the Final Fantasy boss, it would open up abilities when I talked about you up there, the series boss battles is what they call it. In JP, when you would fight them, it would unlock latent abilities for the characters from that series. Now, in Global, they've changed it completely. What we're going to be able to get is latent abilities, and we're going to get enlightenment points. We acquire those, and then we can spend them on units, which is awesome. The reason I say it's awesome is that they could just choose, instead of being like, okay, FFBE, we got to go this, this, and this. They could just down the line be like, okay, Fravia, you know what? You've been on the back burner. Let's give you a latent ability. You can do XYZ now, and you have to use those EP points. I love this change. It opens up to a much more of a development, much more of a content, instead of being restricted like in JP. Who knows who they're going to give these latent abilities to? But again, essentially, it's a new currency type, as it says here. To unlock or upgrade abilities, EP can be obtained by clearing specific dungeons. So I don't think it has to only be the series boss battles. It could be other ways you get that EP, but I'm very excited about it. It's definitely new. And a big announcement right here, CG Elena coming out here. She looks amazing. She speaks English in her LB. Let's see if we can get this to play right here. I got to turn up the volume real quick. Here you guys go. If you haven't seen it yet, hopefully it's good. Light of Salvation. She speaks in English. She's popping off. Those are crystals. Those are not ice. Those are crystals. So remember that. I know it's not the best audio quality. I'm sorry. I'm watching this on the YouTube. Somebody was recording it from the YouTube video. But she looks amazing, okay? She looks awesome. Global is getting... They were actually told us we would never get a Global exclusive CG unit. But I guess maybe Global's doing so well, we actually ended up getting one, or maybe they just need to revamp some life into her. She looks awesome. And she's going to be coming with her own story event. She's going to be coming this month in July with CG Charlotte, her. Hopefully CG Lightning ain't at the end of the month in that King Mog event, or we're going to be strapped for cash. Probably have to skip CG Lightning. But she's going to be extremely powerful. A true double hand hybrid attacker. Has all these different things she can do. The biggest ones that I see to me are Imperil and Imbue up to 4 elements. That's a lot of elements to be covering. A lot of different elemental advantages or disadvantages you can get around with this one unit. Holy smokes, I can't wait to see how strong she is. And she's a hybrid attacker. She speaks English. All right, let's get it. Let's see what happens with her story. I did hear from Fujimoto-san when he did come around to my table, though, that her story is going to be a little bit smaller and a little bit shorter than what we used to have, but they packed a lot of good stuff into it. I think it was just kind of like, hey, guys, don't expect too long of a story for this global exclusive unit. But yeah, that's global exclusive content right here. A whole new story mode and a CG unit. That is awesome. They are having another unit, a unit design contest for specific roles. So we're going to be able to get a physical attacker, magical attacker, healer, buffer, debuffer, tank, and they're going to be able to make bosses. Bosses, apparently, we're going to make up to 3 bosses instead of 1. And so, yeah, the period is going to be sometime in mid-July, and then I think it goes until August. So you guys can get your things in there. Be paying attention to the official social media sources for how you can enter into that. And they're going to be going around the world. Apparently, July, Paris. They're going to be in Paris. In August, they're going to be in Germany. In September, they're going to be in Korea. January, they're going to be in Taiwan. And then apparently in New York, in November, there's supposed to be another live stream event. So I don't know if that's a fan fest or what that is, but in November, if you're around the New York area or you don't care to go out to the New York area, there's going to be another FFBE event there. So, putting all this in a nice bow, wrapping it up. Again, I am very excited about the story. I can't not be very excited about this. Rewards, yes. Feeling appreciated, yes, that is important. I think the rewards are pretty great. It was lacking in the appreciation of the veteran players. Hopefully they get that fixed and you guys feel appreciated and everything like that. But if we look past that, if you guys could just take that anger or that missing out, and I'm so sorry about that, you put it to the side, The game is a bright future in global. Like, if they can avoid the whole UOC debacle with the Summon Fest, because they've been giving banners 5% rates randomly. They're just like, here's a 5% banner. CG Charlotte, hopefully, 5% banner. It says 5% banner. We don't know how exactly it works yet. 5% rainbow rate up on the banner. So, maybe we avoid that whole debacle of not being able to use UOCs because they're taking away the UOCs from us. And I think in the end, you guys are going to be, you know, that's going to be great for us when we can UOC maybe CG Noctis or, you know, all these units that were taken away from the UOC pool. And as far as the game is concerned with replayability content, finally they hit it out of the park. Every single month we get a new trial. We got to beat it with like 25 different units. We get EP points coming out. We get a CG story. I'm just overwhelmed, and I hope you guys are too. I know, again, I know the rewards for you guys are a little lacking for what you feel like you should be appreciated, but I can't help it, dude. I'm excited. I'm excited. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below how you felt about the 3rd anniversary. Maybe give something positive, give something negative. You know, constructive criticism is never a bad thing. And then subscribe for future content. We'll catch you in the next video.